Paddy The Baddy Pimblett exploded onto the global MMA scene last month with his first-round destruction of Luigi Vebdramini on the Darren Till/Derek Brunson undercard in Vegas. The former Cage Warriors champion won via first-round KO with a vicious flurry of punches. So how did the MMA community and celebrities react after Pimblett's debut win? Today, we're discussing the popular Scouser and what celebrities and MMA athletes actually think about him, so stay with us. First up, we're looking at his meteoric rise, so don't go anywhere. Pimblett began his professional MMA career at an incredibly young age of 17 in the Cage Warriors organization. He debuted in the organization at Cage Warriors 56 against the previously undefeated Florian Callan. Pimblett won by unanimous decision. After 9 fights and only 1 loss in the organization and an overall result of 11-1, Pimblett met experienced Frenchman Johnny Fracchi 18-10 for the vacant featherweight title at Cage Warriors 78. Pimblett won convincingly via TKO in the first round. After being away from the octagon due to an 18-month injury layoff, Pimblett met Bama and Brave CF veteran Irishman Decky Dalton, who was 10-4 at Cage Warriors 113 on March 20th, 2020. Pimblett won convincingly via KO in the first round. His last fight under the Cage Warriors banner was against David Martinez at Cage Warriors 122, Charrier vs. Vucinic on March 20th, 2021. He won the fight via submission, rear naked choke. After this fight, he was assigned to the top global MMA organization, UFC, at the third time of asking, having twice previously turned down Dana White, a competent Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Pimblett has made a name for himself with some spectacular submissions in his fledgling MMA career, the highlight of which arguably being his flying triangle against Alexis Sabdis. Did you watch much of Pimblett's Cage Warriors career? What did you think? And how do you see his UFC career developing? So what exactly happened during his UFC debut? The Liverpool lightweight delivered on his promise of a first-round finish on his UFC debut with a stunning TKO win over Luigi Vebdramini. Pimblett was rocked by a big left hand from Vebdramini early on, but recovered quickly before turning the tables on his opponent in stunning fashion, showing a solid chin and quick recovery qualities. A right hand from Pimblett stunned the Brazilian, and the Baddy followed up with a breathless salvo of strikes that eventually dropped Vebdramini and forced referee Mark Smith to step in and wave off the bout at the 4-minute 25-second mark. What did I tell you, Mike? He told English UFC Hall of Famer and former middleweight champion Michael Bisping, who interviewed him in the ring after his victory at UFC Fight Night 191 in Las Vegas. Me and you will be having this conversation after a first-round finish. And what happened? After Bisping mentioned that Pimblett was caught early in the fight, the victorious Englishman shrugged it off as he grinned, "I'm a Scouser. We don't get knocked out." It seems as though Bisping was goading Pimblett, trying to get a rise out of him, but it didn't work. What do you think of Bisping's interview methods? He then announced his arrival as a new force in the UFC's lightweight division before calling on UFC President Dana White and matchmaker Sean Shelby to bring the UFC back to England, saying, "I'm here to take over, lad. I'm the new cash cow. I'm the new main man on the UFC roster," he declared. "People are going to be calling me out now. You know who the boy is? Dana Shelby, let's get England back on, lad. Let's get back to the UK. Get your boy in the main event or the co-main event and I'll blow the roof off the gaff." A lot of Liverpool slang to unpick in there. If you've never been, they call everyone lad. That's nice, isn't it? Do you see the promotion heading to the UK anytime soon? We might not see that for a while, especially with the UK's COVID protocols in place. Pimblett, 26, was constantly linked with the UFC throughout his time with British MMA promotion Cage Warriors, where he became a featherweight champion, as we mentioned earlier. But despite twice being offered contracts to join the UFC, Pimblett turned down the chance on both occasions, opting instead to stay on the UK scene until he felt he was ready to make the jump to the world stage. What did you make of Pimblett twice turning down the UFC? Obviously, he had supreme confidence in his ability to know he would get another shot further down the line. He made that leap from Cage Warriors successfully last month on his UFC debut at Apex Center. Bravo, Paddy. So what was the reaction from the MMA community and celebrities around the world after Pimblett's debut win? Stay where you are, as we'll be discussing this next. It seemed as though everyone throughout the MMA community had something to say about the charismatic Pimblett. UFC strawweight Tatiana Suarez remarked that she loves her some UFC fighters, presumably shouting out Darren Till and Molly McCann while bigging up Pimblett too. Current UFC bantamweight Aljamain Sterling tweeted, "That was cool AF. Back and forth fight, but Paddy comes out on top." UFC heavyweight and current podcaster and stand-up comedian Brendan Schaub simply tweeted, "Oh my god, Paddy the Baddy." Clearly impressed then, Brendan. Ecuadorian hitman Marlon Chito Vera referenced Pimblett's big talking, saying, "What a win, talk the talk." Current UFC featherweight Charles Rosa welcomed Paddy to the UFC simply by calling him a savage. We tend to agree, Charles. We tend to agree. Bella Muhammad called him tough, and saying it was a great finish. Combat sports journalist Brett Okamoto welcomed Pimblett to the UFC by commenting on Pimblett's style during his first round win. American sports writer Cam Marino tweeted, "Paddy Pimblett is going to be the next big thing in the UFC." Thanks, Cam. Obviously, then, a lot of love for the 26-year-old Pimblett, and rightly so. What's up next for the cheeky Scouser then? Stay tuned as we're discussing this next. This past weekend, Pimblett became the latest UFC prospect to refuse ranked opponents until he gets better pay. F that, I'm not fighting a top 10 on the money I'm on, lad, Pimblett said in an interview with James English. Nick Pete was saying he'd like to see me against Tony Ferguson, and lad, I like to see me against Tony Ferguson, but not on the contract I'm on now. F that. Get paid that money to fight Tony Ferguson, lad. Yeah, he's still one of the best 155ers in the world, lad. I want 6 effing figures, lad, then I'm fighting him. Wow, language, Paddy, language. What do you make of Pimblett's stance? Kind of makes sense though, right? The jury's still out whether Pimblett will be able to survive in the Shark Tank. That is UFC's 155-pound division, but one thing is for sure, the baddie has no intention of fighting any ranked killers on this current contract, which is great. It'll allow him to grow. So now that we know he's not willing to fight anyone in the top 10, who might he face then? Well, former Cage Warriors foe Julian Erosa has recently called out the baddie for a rematch in the top promotion after their war 5 years ago, in which Paddy took a unanimous decision win. What do you think about a rematch with Erosa? Interesting? In a recent interview, Paddy Pimblett had a lot to say about the current boxing phenomenon Jake Paul. Normally, Paul is the one making the first move and challenging his opponents. However, things are changing now, and Pimblett is feeling smug. According to him, he can crush Paul in one match. While talking about Jake Paul and Woodley's fight, he claimed he wouldn't waste time with Paul and said Woodley really should have finished the YouTuber and only has himself to blame for leaving it to the judges. We kind of agree. I mean, Woodley dominated the welterweight division for a long time and came up short against boxer's new loudmouth. Pimblett went on to call Jake a sausage, claiming he would fight and beat him tomorrow and that Woodley should be embarrassed. We have to say, calling someone a sausage in public is a pretty good banter. We can't really see this one happening anytime soon though, as Dana has probably some big plans for his prize liver Paddy and Assen. Pimblett has alluded to his next fight contract being signed, however, but didn't drop any hints as to who it might be against. Although he's not giving anything away as to who his next opponent might be, Pimblett is going to set his sights high over the next couple of years. He told the Fight with Teddy Atlas podcast that he thinks Dustin is currently the best featherweight even though he hasn't got the belt, but he thinks he will ultimately win it. He also rated current champ Charles Oliveira, Islam Makhachev, Michael Chandler, and Justin Gaethje, completing his top 5. Do you see Paddy making a run at the top 5 one day? He certainly has the ring IQ and charisma to climb up that ladder. Maybe the only obstacle with these generational talents is themselves. See Conor McGregor, John Jones, etc. As always, thanks for tuning in, and feel free to leave your own thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And remember to tune in next time.